So let's be for real, if you're a producer in 2025 and you are not making Afrobeat, then I'm sorry to tell you, you're missing out on one of the biggest musical revolutions of our time. And by the end of this video, you understand exactly why you should start making Afrobeat. And I'm not just going to be telling you, I'm going to be showing you exactly how. Afrobeat has gone from a regional sound to a global movement, dominating charts, influencing other genres, and creating opportunities like never before. So why does Afrobeat sound so good? It's all in the production. The bounce, the groove, the swing, and basically it's all just designed to make people move. So let's just break down some key elements that make Afrobeats unique. So the very first thing we're going to talk about are the drums and grooves. Unlike trap or hip-hop music, Afrobeat relies on syncopation and kicks. The kicks are spaced out, the rim shots are crisp and snappy, and the percussions create a rolling groove. Moving on, we're going to talk about the melodies and the chords. When you think Afrobeats, you think warm, jazzy chords and infectious melodic lines. Major sevens, minor ninths, call and response are very common in Afrobeat. And then the next on our list is the bass line. For Afrobeat, the bass line is usually deep, groovy, and often played in counter rhythm to the drums. And to show you guys how exactly all of this comes together, I'm going to be making a beat just to show you guys how easy it is to come up with Afrobeats. So to kick things off for the beat, I'm going to set my BPM to 93 BPM. And then after that, I'll probably get addictive keys. And for this, I'm going to go over to the Studio Grand selections and I'm going to use the Grand Noir presets. And then with this, I'm going to open up the piano roll. So the first thing I usually do whenever I want to come up with chords, so I go over to the drop down menu and I go to view. Then I go over to scale heighting right here. And then you can see we have root notes and we have scales over here. So I'm going to be picking a root note. I'm going to use A, and for the scale I'm going to be using the major scale. So once you've selected your root note and your scale, the first thing you usually do is just to place your first note on the root notes that you actually selected, and mine is A, so I'm going to place my first note right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lay down my bass notes, and then from there I'll progress into making the chords. So I'm going to place another note right here, which is C sharp, which is still in the scale, and E like this. Then I'll extend this out, and I'm just going to copy this over. Then I'm just going to build up my chords from this. I'm just going to make a major triad chord, just like this, and then over here I'm going to make a minor 7th chord, and then finally I'm just going to repeat a major over here, just like this. So I'm going to delete this and then copy this over, and then this is what we have. It already sounds good, but I'm just going to show you guys how you can take this and make it sound a lot more better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this up an octave, and then I'm going to be deleting this. Do the same thing, take this one up an octave, and then for this part, instead of deleting this, I'm going to take this up an octave and then make this a 7th chord. I'm just going to add an E over here just to make this part a lot more different from this. And then after that, I'm going to be selecting all the bass notes, and then I'm going to hold shift, click on them, and I'm just going to hold control and the down arrow key just to bring it down. And this is just to create more depth in the melody. And then after this, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to hold Alt S just to strum the note slightly with this knob right here, click accept, and then I'm going to hold Alt R. As you can see with this knob right here, it says velocity, so I'm going to use this knob to kind of like adjust the velocities and, you know, randomize them. And just like that, this is how it sounds like. You can hear how smooth and jazzy it sounds now. It sounds way better than it sounded before, just because I kind of tweaked some notes up and down octaves and, you know, kind of mess around with the velocities and all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open up the Roland SRX electric piano. And then with this, I'm just going to go over to the preset menu, and then I'm going to use this pure EP2 presets. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to click on this, Ctrl C, click here, Ctrl V, just to copy what we have here over to the next plugin. Then I'll just probably delete the bass notes because I want this to just have the main melody. Now, if you're serious about making high quality Afrobeats, all you need is the right sound, and that's exactly why I put together the Afrology bundle, a complete Afrobeat production pack designed to give you that authentic industry level sounds instantly. Now, inside of this pack, you'll be getting a drum kit, a one-shot kit, a loop kit, a texture and perk loop kit, and a MIDI kit, all inside of this pack, all crafted to help you make Afrobeats with ease. So no more searching for the perfect Afrobeat sound. This bundle has everything you need. Grab the Afrology bundle right now and start making fire beats. The link is in the description. So moving on, I kind of want to get like a lead, so I'm going to go over to this plugin called the Prince, and then with this I'm just going to go over to the leads, and then I'll try to find like something that sounds very nice. I think I'll use this. Kind of sounds very mellow, so I'm going to use this, but then I'm going to turn off the distortion. So this, I kind of want to come up with something very catchy and repetitive. And I'm just going to copy this over, Ctrl B, and then over here I'm going to bring this down an octave like this. But then just to make this sound a little bit more interesting, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything and I'm going to try to add some effects to the lead. So I'm going to select everything, click on the first mixer track, hold Ctrl Shift and L just to link everything that I've selected. So I'm going to go over to the lead and I'm going to start off by adding the fruit parameter EQ. I'm just going to do some quick EQing. So what I'm going to be doing with this is, first off, I'm going to solo this and then I'm going to try to boost the frequencies. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this plugin called Fresh Air. And with this, I'm just going to go over to the preset menu and then I'm going to use this vocal air preset. I'm going to unlink both of them and then I'm going to bring this down, then I'll bring this down a little. And then I'm going to add shaper box, but for this, I'm going to go to the preset menu and then I'm going to use the motion rhythm 1 preset. And then for this, I'm just going to turn off the time. And then I'm going to add a reverb plugin, and for that, I'm going to use ambient. So I'm just going to drag the dry and then bring the wet down a little. I'm also going to add the fruity delay 3. With this, I'm just going to do the usual, go to the preset menu, and then I'm going to use the ping pong preset, bring the wet down. And then the last thing I'm going to do, just to kind of like boost the volume a bit, because it kind of sounds very low. So I'm going to add the fruity compressor. I'm going to take the ratio to 3. Then I'm going to boost the gain to about 3.6 or 3.5 dB. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to render this lead out. So I'm going to click on this, solo it, and then go over to the master channel, click on this, and then I'm going to hold Alt R and then click Start. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of get like a bass. So I'm going to go over to my Afrology bundle. I'm going to go to the Saturn one shot kit and I'm going to get like a bass. I want to get like a Reese bass. I'm going to use this. Just drag this in, and I'm going to go over to the envelope section, bring the attack down, increase the hold, bring the decay, sustain, and release all down. Just going to select the bass notes like this, and then Ctrl C, copy this, and then I'm going to open up the bass and then just paste this over. Then I'm going to take this up like this, just like this. So basically, I feel like adding some saxophones to these melodies. So I'm going to go over to the Heaven's Gate saxophone pack and I'm going to try to get something that sounds really good. I'm going to drag this in. I'm going to first of all pitch this so it's in the right key with our melody. It's already in F sharp minor, so I'm going to double click. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to stretch and then I'm going to bring this down 500 cents. So what I'm going to do now, it kind of sounds very low, so I'm going to take this up an octave, and how I'm going to do that, I'm going to take the range up to 12 and then I'm going to take this up all the way up. So you're just going to pitch this up 1 octave and then I'm going to cut the excess off. I actually do not like the way this part sounds, so I'm going to cut this off and I'm going to add something else to fill up this empty space. So I think I'm going to use this, so I'm going to drag this in, put this right here, and then I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to pitch this, put this to stretch, and then I'm going to bring this down 500 cents and then as well take the range up to 12 so I can pitch this up an octave, and then this is what it sounds like. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be adding some pedal textures just to, add some accents to the beat. So I'm going to use this. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to double click, put this to stretch. I'm going to set the pitch to 400 cents. And I think I'm going to add this one also. I'm going to put this, but then I'm going to shift this, put this right here, and then make this, put this to stretch. And then I'm going to pitch this one down like 400 cents. Just like this. So last thing I'm going to do for the melody is I kind of want to add some like vocals. So basically I'm going to go over to the cadence one shot collection and I'm going to go over to the vocal chops. I think I'm going to use this, so I'm going to drag this in, and then over here I'm just going to double click, put this stretch, and then I'm going to time stretch this so it fits with our tempo. Since already this is E minor and our key is A major, so I'm going to take this 400. Yeah, but then it sounds a bit low, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the range up to like 12, so I can take this up an octave. So I'm going to add some effects to the vocals, but before I do so, I just like to keep my workflow organized. So I like to just change the color and make it a unified color. So I'm going to do this just like this, and then I'm going to take this, then link this over to the mixer, Ctrl L. So what I'm going to do is I'm first of all going to add the fruity parameter EQ, and then I'm going to right click, use this preset right here, and then I'm going to like cut the highs. I only want the mid frequencies, so I'm going to cut the lows, and then I'm going to add this plugin called Ambience. It's a really cool reverb plugin for vocals, and then I'm going to bring this right here like this, bring out the wet, and then I'm going to add wider, and I'm just going to set this to about 40%. So now that we're done with the melody, let's just move straight on to the drums. So basically for my drums, I got all my drum sounds from my Carnival drum kit. This is also going to be down in the description. So what I'm going to do now is I'm also going to add a shaker. So I'm going to go over to the shakers, and I'm going to use this. So I'm going to drag this in. So I'm going to move on to the rim shot, this rim shot. Just like this. And then copy this over. And then moving on to the next rim shot. Just like this. And then I'm going to go over to this low tom. I want this to kind of drive the groove for the drums, so it's going to play something like this. And then moving on to this bongo, I want this to come in only once at every bar, so it's going to come in like this. Just like this, copy this over. And then for this little perk thing right here, I want this to come in at this point like this. Copy this over. Then I'm going to bring this down one semitone. And then moving on to this conga. Like this. And then this. Shift this out like this. Copy this like this. So we have this bongo. I think I'm going to put this right here. And then moving on to this low drum. So it's just going to be like this, and then I'm going to copy this over. Then moving on to the second low drum. But then I'm going to take this up to a D. For my drums, and most especially for the rim shot, I actually didn't want to go for the typical, Afrobeat rim shot pattern. I really wanted this to sound a lot more traditional, and I wanted to give it that percussive vibe. That's basically why I did not go for the traditional Afrobeat rim shot pattern. I wanted the drums to be a lot more bouncy and have a lot of space, so whoever is going to use the beats, probably sing on it or do a rap or whatever, would have a lot more room to do whatever they want. So basically that's exactly what I aimed for the drums. So for the kick, I'm going to try to do something more like this. And copy this over. Just like this, and then I'm going to increase velocities. So basically guys, that's going to be all for this. I'm just going to arrange the beat, add some more effects, and then I'll play the final product for you guys to listen.
Kanzii, spice that shit up.
So why should you start making Afrobeats? Well, this is because Afrobeat isn't just big, it's going to get bigger. Afrobeat is one of the most exciting and accessible genres to produce. You don't need crazy plugins, you don't need a massive studio, all you need is the right bounce. And right now there's more demand than ever for Afrobeat producers. So don't wait, start experiencing, start creating, and who knows, you might just produce the next global banger. So if you enjoyed this video guys, don't forget to go down there, give this video a smashing thumbs up, like this video so YouTube can share this video out to other producers that are struggling to make Afrobeats or are thinking about making Afrobeats. And while you're there, also do not forget to subscribe to the channel because a lot of you guys watch my videos and do not subscribe. And you can also share it to someone who actually needs to hear this, and let's grow this awesome community together. And also do not forget to go check out the Afrology bundle. It's going to be linked in the description like I've said before. That's going to be all today guys. Catch you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.